Welcome to Thursday. This is going to be our standard day for nutrition every week. Hello, everyone. Let me get situated. Let's see who's going to be the first to hop in and say hi this afternoon. Who has the fastest typing fingers today? Krista. Way to go. It's always fun for me to see. Hello, Bobby. Hello. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the lighting. It's pretty crazy in here. Well, hello, everyone. So Thursdays is going to be our nutrition talk. So we are kicking things off this week, and I am excited to talk about it. And thank you for the hearts. I'm going to ask you to just tap like crazy the whole time today, because I know a lot of times I'm talking and you may not immediately have a question. So just let me know you're still there. So let me say hello to those of you who are new. And if I haven't seen you before, take a second and make sure you type in your name so I can start associating it. So when you say hi, yes, do what Mark did. Say hello and put your name in so that I can connect it. The other thing you're going to find is, hello, Carissa, Jackie. As we're talking about these different topics every day of the week, you're going to see some super smart people in these scopes who are also nutritionists or coaches. Watch what they're saying and tap on their name. You can see their profile, and you can start to follow them too. I do not purport to be the only person that knows it all. I know some things, and I'm willing to share them. So for those of you who are new, yes, once again, my hair is wet and because I'm coming to you straight after a shower, which is one of the benefits of being a lifestyle entrepreneur. I had a crappy run this morning, so I cut it short at 3 miles. And I tried it again this afternoon. I started work early, took a short break, and now I'll keep working later. Love it. I am Amanda from RunToTheFinish, which is a greatest top health and fitness blog. I have been writing it for years. I am also a travel writer, a digital strategist, a running coach, and so many other hats, which I love. Are we going to have trolls today? What I want to start talking to you on Thursdays about is nutrition, because it's such a key part of the overall fitness. What happened today, it might be that I ran really hard yesterday, and so I had high expectations for what I was going to do this morning, but my body just wasn't quite recovered yet, is my best guess for what happened. So I started this fitness journey by running, and I lost 35 pounds, which I have kept off over 12 years. I started running in college, so at the time, running was enough to start seeing weight come off. I didn't really have to change some of my eating habits. But as I got out of college and I started working a job, I started to realize, one, that my running was getting harder because I probably wasn't eating well and I was spending more time sitting. So I had to figure out this whole food thing. And over the years, I've continued to make little tweaks and little tweaks and little tweaks. But one of the big ones is dairy. So let me get a show of hands. How many of you currently eat dairy? Give me a thumbs up or a yes if it's something you include, maybe because it's got a lot of protein or it's an easy go-to snack to have string cheese or yogurt. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, awesome. So I was eating string cheese, I was eating cottage cheese, I was eating Greek yogurt, I was eating everything that, hey Rom, I was eating all of the things that I was reading about, which were supposed to be really high in protein and help to curb my appetite, and there's a million articles out there telling you that dairy helps you lose weight, right? Tap the screen if you've seen it. You've seen the articles. Dairy helps you lose weight. Well, those studies are all funded by the dairy industry. Kind of interesting, no? Now, here's the thing. Dairy is a fantastic source of protein for people it works for. Unfortunately, a lot of us have a food sensitivity to dairy and we don't even know it. So I was having stomach issues and I couldn't figure out what it was. And someone said to me, listen, if you're willing to try it, just cut out the dairy. And I was kind of ho-hum, so I ended up, someone gave me a food allergy test and dairy showed up. And when I once saw it was like in black and white, dairy is an issue, then I cut it out. Well, within a week, I could breathe better. I was sleeping better. I lost 3 pounds, and it was totally from being bloated. So a lot of times you don't even know that you're bloated because it's just a constant state because you're putting all of that in your body. So there are people who can absolutely eat dairy. I'm not saying there aren't, but there are a lot more of us who don't realize how it's impacting us. It's also crazy addictive. Think about some of the foods that you crave. What are they? They're usually cheese, ice cream. Those are like the 2 big ones that you hear over and over and over that people overdo it on too. So it's, I wish I could find this study for you. There's a very specific study even on it that talks about the chemicals that actually get released in your brain because of the way those fats are put together and what happens in your body. And in a most bizarre and unfortunate turn of events, the foods that we tend to be most sensitive to are the ones that we crave. It wasn't the China study, though it does talk about cutting the dairy. There was a newer study, and I'll have to see if I can find it for you guys and post it. But the foods you tend to crave a lot of times, while you've been eating them, those are the ones that you might be really sensitive to. So it's kind of a tough thing. At first, I was not convinced. So I took it out for like 7 days and it was like, oh, I do really feel better, but maybe it was this thing or it was that thing. Who knows? It probably wasn't the dairy. Well, then I added the dairy back in, and after having been off of it for a little while, then you know immediately it was the issue. So now if I choose to have a slice of pizza, that's totally fine. I'm choosing it. I'm recognizing how I might feel afterwards. But it's different than when you're having it every day and you don't even know that you're causing your system issues. So especially as runners, any food that you're eating which is causing that consistent inflammation, that's why your knees hurt. That's why you're getting more sore after your runs. That's why you're not recovering as much. So if you've been feeling a lot of those, or specifically if you break out right here along the sides of your nose, that's actually also a sign of a dairy allergy. If you've been having a little more trouble breathing, I saw someone mentioning the coughing and the wheezing. If you're stuffed up a lot of times it's dairy. It's crazy. So you can definitely go and you can get tested for it. It's one of the few that I think is really easy to get an actual test for. But for free at home, you can take it out for like 7 days. And most of the time that'll be enough to see a change. You don't have that type of acne. So amazing. Your acne tells you all kinds of things. So like when you're getting it on your chin, it can be telling you all kinds of different things. Yes, Mark, the phlegm. So if I could get my husband to stop eating dairy, his issue would be solved. But he likes it and he just refuses to give it up at this point. Yes. Particularly the congestion, you will see such a massive difference. So what are we talking about when we say dairy? Because love, love, love my dear husband who is from Iowa, but when I say dairy, the only thing that means to him is a jug of milk. Well, dairy is also butter. Dairy is whey protein. So if you're drinking a lot of those protein shakes, check it out. It may not be doing you any good if it's the whey. So I didn't realize that was actually part of what was causing my issue, which is when I switched over to Vega. So it's the butter, it's whey, it's the yogurts, it's in almost any baked good. It's in a smaller amount. But just try it for a week and see if it makes a difference. And the other thing that we don't realize is all the crazy, weird hormones that are in dairy now. I think that was one of the things that finally really made me want to get away from it. So many of you who have been around Run to the Finish for a while know that I went through some very serious health issues. A few years ago, one of the results was going through menopause at 30, and I think some of it was probably due to potentially foods and toxins that I had been eating before that and not knowing it. So all of those antibiotics that are in our dairy, that are in our meats, you have to kind of think at those. And I've seen a few people mention either going raw or going vegan. You can definitely try like organic milk. It is more expensive, so I just never even really went down that road. But I do try to really look at if I am eating meat now, it's only high quality. But I think that's a whole nother, the vegan or the raw is a different topic, so I want to just stick to getting you guys considering dairy, and I love that some of you are chiming in with, yes, how you feel or what a difference it made for you, because I think that's kind of the key, is for people to see who it's worked for, who it's made a difference for, because a lot of times we just sort of think, oh, not me. No, not me. There are probably a few like very good ice creams that use organic milk, but not most of them, you're right. Yes, so if you're going to switch and try an alternative milk, make sure you just read the ingredient list. There's one very key word you want to make sure is not in there, and it's carrageenan. So it is in a lot of these soy and almond milks, and it is a known issue for a lot of people in terms of digestion, but it's just not something you want to be ingesting. So just look at the ingredient list and go for the unsweetened version. You can still get a vanilla that's unsweetened, so don't be cramming, extra sugars into your day. But now I love, love, love my almond milk. Yes, Rich Roll. So I talk about him all the time because I am a huge fan of his podcast, and he was one of the reasons that I attempted going vegan, and I did it for quite a long time. It just wasn't the best fit for me, and I think that's super important. I still eat an insane amount of fruits and vegetables, but being 100% vegan didn't feel best for me, and I think that's okay. It took me a long time to decide I was okay with saying that, but it is. There are different things that are going to work for everyone, and I think that's a key thing too. So you may be listening and like, nope, dairy works for me. I'm going to keep eating it, and that's fine. If you know for sure it's not an issue for you, then eat it. Also know, however, if you're concerned about calcium, dairy is actually not the best source of calcium. You're going to get a better result from things like broccoli. So calcium is in all of those fantastic fruits and vegetables, well, mostly your vegetables. So don't be your spinach. So don't be concerned about that. Dairy is actually not the most absorbable source of calcium for your body. So I think that's an important thing too, because that is what they have told us over and over and over. And in fact, I think yes, I love that. And here is what I was going to say in relation to losing the weight. Think about this. What was milk designed for? Anyone? Why do cows produce milk to start with? It's not to make their young skinny, right? What is it helping those babies do? It's helping them turn into massive cows, right? Like, it's not there to make them, thin and trim and athletic cows. It's there to turn them into large cows. So they go from calves to very large animals. They're tons. Yeah, it's like, it's designed for them. It's not designed for you, specifically if weight loss is your key, I think. I do think there are milk alternatives like goat milk. Many, many more people can handle goat milk and sheep's milk. And some of that is just the increase in food sensitivities in general, because we are eating so many of the same foods over and over and over. That is part of what creates a food sensitivity. So I can talk more about the difference between food sensitivities and food allergies, you know, in another scope, but yeah. Yes, milk is designed for babies. Yes. It is really weird. You're right, Krista. I do wonder, I mean, I guess I will take that back. I will say that, you know, years ago when you lived on a farm and you made use of everything that was available to you, and that's how your family survived because you didn't have the grocery store and you didn't have, you know, people to barter with, maybe your farm was your sole source of survival, then I get it. You know, you were making use of every potential thing that was available to you so that you could feed your family and grow and be healthy, and they were looking for nutrient-dense calories, and they were drinking the whole milk, so they were getting the fats and the vitamin Ds. They weren't drinking the stuff now that we have, which is from cattle who have been, you know, given lots of hormones, and from, you know, a factory, really. So I can see it then, but now it has become sort of a weird thing. And it goes back to what we were taught or what we've grown up knowing from the dairy industry being fabulous at really promoting why they're a great thing. So, you know, they've done their job. They have made us all believe it is important to drink milk. Okay, gang. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, Thursdays are going to be our chance to talk a little bit about nutrition. Fridays, we will be back to answering your running questions. So I think I'm just going to make Friday probably a little bit of an open Q&A. And, well, thank you for joining, Amanda. Great name, right?